When I think of my college years, so many awesome memories come to mind, and most of them included people. So, just random people at that. So, not even just my roommates and my close friends, but just random people on campus. So, when I think about those memories, some of the key things that come to mind, like late nights at Denny's just to get hot chocolate, or the dorm lobbies being filled with women from all over campus on the night that the latest episode of The Bachelorette was airing. We would take spur of the moment road trips to somebody's hometown and we would just have dinner with their family. And then there were always the late night sessions into the early morning hours, viewing old reruns of Gilmore Girls or One Tree Hill. Those marathons were just so fun. So when I think about the college years and I think about community, I just think about how easy it was. There was always somebody around. We lived with roommates who were our best friends, and there was just always that opportunity to do something with someone. Now, into my adult years, I'm finding that community and doing life with people is harder. So there isn't the opportunity for just having people around all the time. You don't live with your friends anymore. But even when I did, graduate from college and I moved out into my adult life and moved in with some roommates, we still had our responsibilities. We had to get up in the morning and go to work, which meant we couldn't stay up to the wee hours of the morning anymore. And there were just different responsibilities that filled our plates. Now, as a married woman and a mother, time is even harder and that spontaneity is even less likely to happen. Now we need to work around bedtimes and extracurricular activities and when our husbands are working and when we're working, and then our friends all have their own crazy schedules. So it's harder to do community. So as I step into these adult years and learn more about myself and learn more about doing life with other people, I'm beginning to see that community needs to be intentional. So, not too long ago, I saw a meme on Facebook that said something along the lines of, hey, you want to hang out in like 3 months? Check your schedule, and then we can add something from like the hours of 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. And it was meant to be funny. And I laughed about it and I chuckled to myself because mostly it's so accurate. Like, just this week, my friends and I were trying to nail down a date and a time that we could do brunch with our families. And that's very much how it is these days for us in the season of life that we're in. And I think that that's okay, but I just think that we have to be honest with ourselves, that we do have to be intentional about making community a priority. So let's look at Hebrews 10:24-25. And I'm going to look down because I have it printed here in my paper, but I want to get the scripture correct. So it says, and let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together, as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as the day draws near. So I love this scripture because it reminds us how important it is to do community with one another, how we have to be intentional about scheduling it. But there's so much that comes out of making sure that we're meeting with our friends, that we're doing life with other people. Not only does it fill their buckets, but it also fills ours. Life is hard. And I think all of us are okay with me admitting that. So there's different family dynamics. There's marital issues that come up. Children, maybe they're going through behavioral issues and we're not quite sure how to deal with them. Stress at work, loneliness, mental health issues. The list goes on and on and on. But what we can be honest with each other about is the fact that when we're doing life in these hard seasons, it makes it so much easier to bear and the burden so much lighter when we have somebody to talk through those situations with, and they can kind of help us through those situations. And then at the same time, life can also be really good and filled with awesome things. Think about birthday parties or bridal showers or baby showers or whatever it might be. It's so much more fun to celebrate those milestones with our friends and the people that we enjoy doing life with. And God intended it to be that way. And we don't just have to celebrate the big things. So maybe you actually washed and folded and put all the laundry away in one day. And that is a huge accomplishment. I have 4 kids, and that very, very, very rarely happens in my life. But just to have those close girlfriends that you can shoot a text to and say, hey, I did this, celebrate with me. That is what community is about. And that is why we have to be intentional about fostering those relationships and making sure that we have those close group of girlfriends that we can be like, hey, the Pinterest recipe, it turned out, I nailed it, and it tastes great. So just think about those kind of things and how it's so important that we have people to do life with. I don't want to discount that we have busy lives. I mean, I will be the first to say that life is packed and life is busy and it can get overloaded. But I also think that we have to be careful about using that busyness as an excuse. I don't think it honors the Lord when we, just kind of gather in our own little family units and worry about our own situations that are going on. But I also don't think that doing community and being intentional with people has to be extravagant. Maybe it looks like scheduling one day a month that you commit to having lunch with a girlfriend. And maybe it's the same girlfriend, or maybe you are committing to having 12 lunches with 12 different ladies throughout the year. And that's awesome. Maybe it's actually going to the movie with your friend that she mentioned that she wants to see and just making that a priority because you know it'll fill her bucket. Maybe it's reaching out to somebody through text. I mean, like, how many times a day does somebody come to mind and you're just like, man, I haven't talked to her in forever. I wonder how she's doing. Send her a message while you're thinking of it. That's the intentionality can be that simple. Maybe it's taking somebody a meal who's going through a tough time. Or maybe it's just shooting somebody a $5 through Venmo to celebrate with them, since you can't actually be with them to have a coffee date, but you want them to know that you recognize that they, were promoted at work, or they completed that big project that was really stressing them out, whatever it might be. Just celebrate with them and just be intentional about doing that. We have been designed to do life together. And I encourage you to search your heart and ask yourself, am I really being intentional about the friendships in my life and creating community? Is there something I need to do differently? What's the Lord laying on your heart? What does that intentionality look like for you this year as you start thinking about your friendships and your relationships and what kind of community life you want to foster? So just search your heart for that. And then ask the Lord, what's my next first step?